Thank you. Don't know if it's the mic or... Hello? I think it's the mic. This one is better. As you notice, I'm coming in front because you guys are too much behind. And I don't think I can work from here. It's an interactive session. So if it's possible, you can move in front. And if it's not, then we'll come. I tell the cameras to move behind so that you can come closer to where you guys are. So it's just a continuation. Before we break into groups now, let's handle them one by one and be able to see where we are. Mostly, thank you, that's better. So that you can be able to see the way my child acts like this. Is it because maybe they are anxious about something? Because if I look around, the children are outside. So I'm only talking to young adults and adults here. So as we keep doing this, then let's look at ourselves and be able to see where our children are. We have talked about the cognitive triangle. This means our mind handles most of the things. Everything that we do, our mind is in control. And when it comes to anxiety, anxiety mostly starts from what we are thinking, what we are imagining, then it all starts from there. Then it will affect our feelings, and then it is going to affect our action. At times, you may not be able to know where all this is coming from. So at times, it may be the action. Like, for example, you find yourself, every time you go to some premises, you find yourself crying. And you don't know why you are crying. But if you trace back, the crying maybe is coming because that is the last time the person that you cared for or you loved used to be in that space. And that's where you find some people, they stopped going to their ushago. Like, I think us, you are one of them. Our grandmother is the one who used to take us to ushago. So all of a sudden, we stopped going to Kissy just because she's no longer there, you know. So the action that we are having is just because we lost a dear one, and going back there when she's not there gives us a bad feeling. And you see, it comes again from their thought. Just thinking of going home without her being there, then it affects us going to Kissy. So the same thing you can be able to do to yourself. Just imagine, what action am I doing that is hindering me, and where is it coming from? So at times you can be able to trace your roots that way. At times you might not be thinking of it. It's just something. So for example, in the morning, you find yourself, most people, ukianza kazi, it's very exciting. You want to go to work. But all of a sudden, the monotony and the routine makes you now, ukiamuka asubuhi, you used to wake up at 5. Now you're waking up at 6. Now you're even getting in late. You know, that's because there is someone who at work, ameanza kukuchokora. Ama, you have just noticed, ile pesa nye niliomba, haitoshi. Sindio? Haitoshi na hii economy. Then now, you start not wanting to go to work. So all this is coming because you're not getting satisfaction. Because of not satisfaction at work, you start waking up late. You don't feel like going to work. So all these things are connected. So I'm just repeating this so that you can be able to know when I'm anxious and the things I do, then where do they come from? So we talked in the morning about generalized anxiety. And generalized anxiety is a feeling anxious, or most of the time, you are anxious for no apparent reason. If you are asked why are you anxious, ndio umeamuka umetoka kwa shower na ushaanza kusweat. Unajua, so you asked, why am I sweating? Why is this happening to me? So while it's very normal for most children to be anxious, to frequently have fears and worries, some anxious children may grow up to develop a long-term condition called a generalized anxiety. Disorders when they become teenagers, or generalized anxiety disorder because you too feel anxious about a wide range of situations and issues rather than one specific event. So for these people, in most occasions, you find them, they are anxious. And mostly the generalized anxiety happens to young people. So as you watch your child grow, just to look at them, what is really causing them this anxiety? Then people affected by it feel anxious most of the days and often struggle to remember the last time they felt relaxed. So in most cases, you find they are tense, they are worried, even for very small things that they should be able to handle. So some children you may find insecure and frequently seek reassurance. So this child, most of the time, they'll come to you and tell you, Mommy, do you love me? Daddy, do you love me? You know, it's just because they just want to be reassured, to be known, you're okay. Daddy, are we safe? Going by this car, is everything going to be okay? You know, and that's why you'll find some people, because they got an accident in a matatu, they will never get a matatu. That is a specific fear. But for generalized anxiety, everything else will be able to cause anxiety into you. So while others may be self-conscious, self-doubting, or overly concerned about meeting other people's expectation. So these people, they would want to please everyone. Ukipata kama ni shule, I'm sure the schools closed this week. You would find there are children who went to the supermarket and ambia, Daddy, buy this for me, for me, for me, for me. And then, at the end, they end up picking a very big present for their teacher, not for them, because they want to please that teacher and to make them comfortable. So you'd find children, instead of thinking of themselves, because most children need to think of themselves. That's what we know. But for this one, you find them thinking of other people and mostly their teachers. So you'll find that generalized anxiety disorders typically affects school-age children and adolescents. And that's where most parents who are here are affected with it. So you would find, what are these symptoms that cause this? Which symptoms can you be able to pick? So you'd find this child is very restless. In most cases, hawezi akatulia mahali moja. Then most of the time, they slept early, but they're already tired the next day in the morning. So you find they have fatigue most of the time, and then there's excessive anxiety and worry. So over a small thing, Daddy, the bus is coming. We'll get late. Na ukiangalia masaa, they have like 20 or 30 minutes. Anataka tu kukimbia aende kwa basi before time. Then they're going to have muscle aches. Ukimuuliza ulianguka, umegongwa, anakuambia hapana. But you'd find they're having muscle aches. Then impaired concentration. This one, in a very short time, they cannot be able to concentrate in something. So you give them something to do, not the very young ones. You'd find those ones who are supposed to concentrate in 20, 30 minutes, they cannot be able to do the 20, 30 minutes. And then they are very irritable. These days you'd find very young people who are very irritable. There's a word I like using for my sons, Namuza, what's wrong with you? So the other day, my wife did not knock, their room just opened. I just heard the boys shouting, Mommy, what's wrong with you? You can't just knock. So you'd find every small things you'll be able to irritate them. Now, to our squeezy, they know so much. So it's important for us to be able to understand, even if they know so much, at what point do we say that now this is anger? This is not normal. There is something disturbing my child that is not normal that I need to be able to support. And then they'll be difficult sleeping. These ones, they normally enter bed at 7 and they doze off. All of a sudden, you find them wakiingia kitanda, every time anakuja anakuambia, nataka maji. Kidogo kidogo, I want to go to the toilet. Kidogo kidogo, baka uko like, what's happened? Like for 1.5 hours, they do not want to sleep. So you find that there's something that is causing anxiety to them. They cannot even be able to sleep at night. Then there's school-based anxiety. This is easy. In the morning, they don't want to go to school, or in the evening, they don't want to leave school just because home is chaotic. So this one is specific, school-based anxiety. So you'd find at times they don't want to go to school because there's someone bullying them in school, or there's a teacher who talked to them badly or mistreating them in school, or at times you find now because home is chaotic, they don't want to come home. And you'd find most of these children, if you want to know they have anxiety, in most cases, you'll find that, like the first one, you'll be able to see on your far left up, you'll be able to see a child clinging on their father. So appear more clingy than normal. There's the normal one, they want to cry kidogo when you are leaving, na wanakuachilia, auntie anamchukua anaenda. So if you want to know your child is being harassed at home by their auntie or the help that you have left at home, at times now they become more clingy than usual. I remember when our son was very young, our firstborn, there was this help we just got for, I think, 2 or 3 days. He used to get other helps, and it was okay. But for this one specific, when you wanted to leave, this guy could not leave us. He would cry so much and be able to do. When we left, even it was the askari, the watchman at the gate, who came to cool him down, just to find that this help was harassing him, was beating my son and harassing him. So it was more clingy than the usual clingy. Ile tu unaenda, analia kidogo, na ukitoka nje ya mlango, kinyamaza, unasikia amenyamaza. That is normal. But for this other one, it was extended, then you'll be able to know the boy was being harassed at home. Then the anxiety was being left by the caregiver or the person that he knew more. So they'd be more restless or rigidity, and then they are going to complain at times, unasikia tu. And I was preparing this thing, I just kept imagining my second born. Most of these things, he keeps having them. So back in Ayuliza, should I go to the school and be able to ask, is everything okay there? So napata kupata kwamba pia tumbo. He started complaining of stomach aches in the morning, hawataki kwenda shule. Anakwambia, I'm sick, just wants to continue remaining at home. And then display changes in eating or sleeping habits. Tushasema hiyo, I want to explain again more. And then express negative thoughts or worrying too much. So instead of them being positive, thinking of good things, they only think of negative things in most of the time, and then get upset or angry more quickly, and then have doubts of explaining, cry. Is just crying or she's crying for no apparent reason, and then you find them now, they start to drop in their grades. So instead of performing well, they are dropping in their grades. So school-based anxiety, will be able to track it and be able to trace it easily if one or two of this is happening. At times you can just ask them, is there bullying in school? Is someone harassing in school? And at very early ages, between 7 and below, they won't be able to tell you, watakata, watakwambia shule iko sawa. At times just go to school and be able to ask, is everything okay? I noticed my son or my daughter, 1, 2 things have started changing that was okay for them. Then this one affects even us big people. The social anxiety is there with us. And social anxiety is not wanting to go out in public, see friends, or take part in activities. Social anxiety, in most cases, we find people become shy. It's a perfectly normal for some of the children and some teenagers that will be able to happen. It's funny, my son is 2 years, and our prayer cell came home, unawambia hi, and a shy off. I was wondering, huyu amejua kushy from where? So these things are very normal for when it comes to children. But at times when it's extended, then you'll be able to know why is this happening to them. So when every activities like shopping or speaking on the phone causes intense, overwhelming fear, children affected by it tend to fear doing or saying something they think will be humiliating to them. So it's important also as parents, at times we humiliate our children. Yes, I'm a concern, and they have done something wrong. But you see, one wants to punish them in front of their friends. And if you punish them in front of their friends, then that's how now they started developing the social anxiety. Even at home, you have 2, 3 children. One of them has done a mistake. Pick that one. Take them to the bedroom. Are you together? Discipline them in the bedroom. Si kwa hawa wengine. At times you might reach there and amuza what has happened. But the fear and everything, you embarrassing them in front of their friends, in front of their siblings, in front of everyone else, might start causing them to start having social anxiety. He was very bold. She was very bold. He would speak in front of people, would do things. But just because of us as parents, we think we are disciplining them. But at the end of it all, our discipline may cause them to start having social anxiety. I've seen it even here at the parking. I've stopped 1, 2 parents and told them, yes, amefanya makosa, but if you must, basi mchukue huko nyuma kwa car park penye hakuna watu. Then go discipline them there, not in front of their friends, so that it's them who have done the mistake, and you are beating them, you are disciplining them with the mistake they have done, not beating them like a burukenge. Nasemanga burukenge ninachapwa tu. Hata sijuangi burukenge ni nini. Musikia tu umenipiga kama burukenge. But yes. So it's important when we are disciplining our children, we are talking to them. Shouting is something else that also can be able to do that to them. Let's talk to them. It's a mistake they have done. A number of times I've picked my son, but time nafika bedroom, asira imepungua. Then now we can sit and talk. But I'm sure kama ningemwanzia hapo sitting room, angekula kiboko. But at times, unafuata umefika bedroom, then you start reasoning with them, you listen, and now they're apologetic and everything. Unasikia huruma, baka namwambia usirudie tena. Alafu unapata umeachana na yeye. So it's good to talk to them instead of shouting or just beating them most of the time. So before it becomes a disorder. And then this is what the symptoms may look like, even to us adults. You may find ourselves, we want to escape from it. For example, you are being told, come to the pulpit, unaambiwa, I've seen enough times. Hapa tu, unaambiwa, wewe ndo unaanzisha Sabbath school. So you need to be there early in the morning. You intentionally get late, knowingly or unknowingly. I told you the mind is able to control you. So you usually wake up on Sabbath very early, prepare yourself, and by 8 you're already here. But the day you are being told to come, you are the one starting Sabbath school, all of a sudden, now una check in up at 9. Naona nikiangalia pale na kiongozi, akismile. So it happens a lot. So you'll find, this is the fear. It's for you to just to conquer it early and be able to know, hizi vitu naniambia nitoroke, it's just because nimeambiwa naenda huko mbele kuzungumza. Then it's very important. And then the muscle tension and pains will be there for you. These are some of the symptoms for you to know if you have social anxiety. Then lump in the throat, nasikia ni kama, you can see them when they come here, unapatiwa mic, unajaribu kuongea, inakataa. Na vile daktari alituambia, put the mic in front of you. Unajua, umejaribu kuweka hapa lakini sauti itoki. Kama kunyongea hapa kiwaru. So that's the same thing that happened. And then blushing and sweating. Those are the next things. And if you have worn a shirt that shows, that's why I say at times, if you know you're coming here and you have social anxiety, avoid bright colored clothes. You will sweat. Try looking for things that you will not be able to show, like a black something. Unajua, ukivaa nguo ya black, hata notice imesweat. Hapo umevaa pink, my friend. Umevaa pink, ukifanya hivi, ina show. From huko. And then, kwa bahati mbaya uangalie hivi, unotice iko, shida inaanzia hapo. You forget everything that you had planned. Ukifika hapo nasema, I think that is enough. Let's pray now. Tumalizia hapo, kwa sababu ya muda. You start now blaming time, eh? Then your heart will race so much, you might find yourself shaking. Nausea and dizziness might be part of some of the things that you are going to have, and in most cases you are going to avoid. Kama ni kiongozi wa Sabbath school, ukiona anakuja hivi, unapita the other way. So you'll be able to avoid them. And then the risk factors are even more. You might find yourself, the things I was just talking about, the early bullying might be there, observing someone that you know and love, like maybe your parent. Na ukisikia akisema, these kids, listen. Usifikirie juu amekaa hapo anacheza na toys, they are not listening. They are listening to you. So, if you start saying, mimi siwezi mama mbele ya watu, ati uko mbele. Imagine nimeambiwa mimi ndio niko huko mbele kesho, na huko siezi, hata huko sitaenda. You are just teaching them the same thing. They are observing you and what you are doing. The next day, they will be told by their teacher, tomorrow you are the one reading the memory verse. Like, no. Me, I'm like my mother. I cannot stand in front of people. I cannot be able to go there. They just picked from you people. So it's important for us to do that. About parenting, I've talked about isolated upbringing. I've just remembered the other day, my firstborn. These people know so much at 9 years old. So they have played the whole day. And then I've told them, now we have homework. I think it was a holiday, and then Sunday we have clubs. So I'm like, can you finish your club activity because Sunday is coming? And then, I don't know, I dozed off on the seat. Kidogo naamuka na shanga, where are you? He's on the window. And then he's like, Daddy, do you know this is bullying? No. And this is child abuse. That was the word he used. Then, first of all, I digested child abuse. Where is it coming from? At what point have I abused this child? I just told him to do his homework. Then I'm like, where is this coming from? And then he brings me a book. The book had a picture of like that child. Na maambiwa watoto wenye anafungiwa kwa nyumba hawakubaliwi kuenda kucheza ni nini? Child abuse. So us locking our kids in the house is child abuse and can cause social anxiety. But for his case, it was not child abuse. So I just challenged him. I asked him, how is it child abuse? Just try to explain to me. I've seen the picture. The child is hiding on the window. The same way when you are just looking on the window outside. Imagine he was there, I think, for like 15 minutes on the window for me to notice I am abusing him. So he was there on the window. And then now this guy comes. He's like, just explain to me, how is this child abuse? And you have played the whole day, and I've just told you to do your homework before Sunday comes and it's almost evening. Explain to me how that is child abuse. And then he started, he's like, by the way, that is not child abuse. You're just telling me to do my homework. I'm the one who is lazy. I should be able to do the homework. Yeye mwenyewe akaenda kufanya homework. So it's important for us to clarify some things. They will come from school having learned some things, having seen some pictures, na tujipate hapo. But kama ni ukweli unamfungia na umpatie opportunity, then that's child abuse, can also cause social anxiety. Then our brain structure, kama tumezoea so much of negativity and everything else, then you'll not be able to be out there. Then you have separation anxiety. When you are being separated, think of yourself when you are very young, ukianza nursery school. Think of yourself when you are supposed to go somewhere. You are leaving your husband, na umepatiwa kazi Machakos. Hata Machakos ni karibu. Unaambiwa you'll be working from another country. Unajua, you should be able to have separation anxiety, but in children it's too much for them. It's because separation anxiety means worrying about not being with people that care for you or you care about. And children, parents, or regular caregivers. It's common in young people, like I've just said, and separation anxiety in older children may be a sign that they feel insecure about something. They could be reacting to change at home. So it's important for us, every time you separate with your child, if it's too much, then observe. But if tu nile ashule, then there's no much worry about it. Then there's a specific anxieties that you may have, and in other terms they are called phobias. So a phobia is about something specific. You have a fear of a particular thing. Like in the morning, the way I was saying, like me when I was growing up, I had fear of tiny things. Pita tree iko na shimo na ni nyeusi. Sijui huko chini kuna nini. Ukiingia kwa nyumba una imagine ukizima stima chini ya kitanda kuna kitu. So the fear of darkness. That means septophobia. So if you have fear of darkness, is there. Fear of heights and any other thing. Agoraphobia of spaces and heights. Then can never be there for you. And some people even have fear of fears. You have a fear of a phobia. Una imagine utaenda kuwa na phobia, unaanza kuwa na it's called phobophobia. Are you together? Of course you have one fear already. A fear of cockroaches and tiny things, Unajua, zikicrawl, hapo una imagine sasa nitatoka kwa hizi niingie kwa nyoka. Nitoke kwa nyoka niingie kwa panya. Kwa panya ameenda wapi? Hayuko hapa. Nipate nje akaniambia kuna fear ya panya. So those are specific fears that you may be able to have. It's just explained more, and just to point out a note on agoraphobia, often misunderstood this condition as a phobia of open spaces and outdoors. A person with agoraphobia may fear leaving home, your school, or using a pit latrine, like I was just saying, or going for an exam on that. So it's a fear where there are other people. It's a fear of common use things with other people. Like the pit latrine, you're using it with other people. When you're doing exam with other people in most cases. When you're going for elevators, you're going to elevators with other people. So common things that are used with the people, then that is agoraphobia. And this happens to our children. In most cases, the ghosts, the cartoons they watch, atakwambia what they are watching. That's why I discovered me praying for them, ninaombea things in general. And that's why I said in the morning, I made sure now it's them praying for themselves, for the fears they are having. Then they can be able to mention. Unasikia ame mention sijui captain sijui nani. God made me not remember captain so and so. It's disturbing my mind. Na unapata ameitoa. Mimi nikiombea ndaombea general nikisema msaidia asione maghost. Na hata kwa mfano hata labda si ghost. Unajua. So with that specific, and you can be able to hear what is causing fear to you. Atakwambia tu mimi naona mavitu. Then that the same thing can be able to happen. And then this is another thing. Your child with their friends, they are okay. So if there's someone anaogopa na amemkosea, if they go closer to them, then they become mute. And then you find some kids, when they are with other children, they are talking and laughing very much. But when it reaches a point now, is their teachers, wamenyamaza. And selective mutism is different from someone who is a stammerer. Stammerer is different from that. But it can cause the same thing. Me, when I was growing old, when I was very young in primary school, I remember, I had that. But now mine was worse because I was also a stammerer. Okay, I'm a recovering stammerer. Sijui kama kuna kitu kama hiyo. I'm a recovering stammerer. So, you would find nikiwa in class, because I never used to miss noisemakers in lower classes, 4, 5, and 6. Kelele sana. So in class napiga kelele sana. But nikifika staff room nimetumwa, unaambiwa Ogendi, go bring something from the staff room. Shida yangu inaanzia hapo. Na nimeambiwa go bring a piece of chalk. Go ask teacher so and so to give you a piece of chalk. Very simple statement. Na najua I'm going to ask Mr. so and so a piece of chalk. Nikishafika hata words zishapotea. Nakumbuka tu chalk. Alafu nashindwa naanza aje sentence. Ndio mimi. Ambo, can you speak? It's even worse when now they harakisha you. Can you speak? So I'm there, I'm like, chalk, I've been sent, you give me a piece of chalk. So you pick, stammerers will always do that. The word that comes first, the major adjective is the one that they're going to pick first, and then the sentence can be able to come from that. So I struggled with that for a long time, until one teacher, nikiwa class 7, she was my friend. So akaniambia, how comes you, they used to call me Ogendi in primary school. How comes you, Ogendi, na kuona kwa kwaya unaimba vizuri. Ukipiga solo mavizu zako unapiga vizuri. So how comes you are singing so well, but you cannot be able to speak? Nikaanza kunit, by the way. So I should be able to now start practicing like I'm singing, and then connect words. And with time, by the time I was finishing that primary school, going to high school because people do not know me in high school, I told myself, I will not be able to stammer until I tap the table. Because me, I used to stammer until I tap the table, then I can be able to speak. But I told myself, that will never be able to happen. If I'll be singing, I will sing and connect words so that I can be able to talk to people and not be able to know it. Until I tell someone, then they cannot be able to pick, I stammer. Even now, during this conversation, I've been stammering, but you cannot be able to notice. I just be able to connect words and be able to continue talking. And pick words that I can be able to relate with and start my sentences from there. So it's important for you to notice your child. Kama kuna selective mutism, at times kuna watu wanawasumbua. Like me, it was my teachers because ya kuchapwa almost every day for noise making and not speaking English. I want to speak Swahili in a boarding school. That one happened back in naogopa walimu. Then you can be able to have selective mutism for these young people. So it's important, it can be treated, and we will start from here. It's very treatable. Anxiety can be treated and should not be able to be worried. We divide ourselves into groups and be able to share our fears and be able to see how it goes. But the most important thing, through counseling and psychotherapy of behavior change, then that one can be able to happen. Because it's just behavior. I never got any medication. I just got encouragement from one teacher. She was my best friend. Uko primary school, in a boarding school. Akaniambia tu, kama unaweza imba, you can be able to change this. Then you can be able to talk to your children and be able to change some of the fears that they're having. We can be able to talk to a counselor ourselves, a psychotherapist, and be able to change some of the fears. Kama hata saizi kuna watu, wakienda mashambani, nivyo siku hizi mashambani imechange. I used to know people, akienda mashambani anaulizanga, ile gorogoro yangu bado iko. Because I toka usiku kwenda kwa choo yenye iko nje, si ndio? Wakisi wako hapa wako wapi? They can relate with this, Unajua utapatana na wachawi kwa barabara, So unajua utapatana na wachawi unatafuta nini? Gorogoro. So it's important for us to seek support for that. I don't advocate for medication because it might cover up. Daktari is here, but for medication in most cases, if the behavior change cannot be able to be changed, then at times you can be supported through some medication to help you. But it must be a disorder. By the time you are diagnosed to be a disorder, then it must have gone to extreme. But small fears, small phobias, small stresses that you are scared of what to come, there are things that we can be able to handle with that. So how can we take care of ourselves if, for example, I don't want to go to a therapist? So what is stressing you? What is making you not to want to go home early after work? Because at times you have anxiety of going back home. You know when you reach home, they're going to ask you about money. So, ni shida ni nyumbani ama ni pesa yenye unaenda kuombwa? Ni pesa yenye unaenda kuombwa, si ndio? Kwa hivyo tafuta pesa ndio upeleke nyumbani. Si ndio? So that you're not scared of going back home. So it's important to address the stressors that you are having and be able to manage what are you anxious about that is causing you all this. If it's young people watching bad things, change. We can be able to control our YouTube channels at home. We can put parental guidance to them. Then that stressors can be able to reduce the nightmares they are having because of the cartoons they are able to watch. Then relaxation techniques. Like now it's very hot. Because it's very hot, if you remove your shoes first of all, that's mekukaza. That's why when you reach home, unatoanga viatu very fast. If you remove your shoes and you put your legs inside cold water, it's going to relax you as faster than you removing your shoes na bado ubaki na socks. Unafaa utoe viatu, socks, hata sasa nikwambia, I don't know if the floor is cold. Ukitoa tu viatu, utoe socks na ukanyage chini. Utasikia a little bit relaxed even if it's a little bit hot right now. So find some relaxing techniques that you can be able to use. Yoga is some of it. Apart from using the terms they keep using, that's the most difficult part I found with yoga. Sijui moon something, sijui the sun something. When they start using those terms, then I start thinking I'm worshiping the moon and the sun. So, but you can do some of those relaxing techniques without those terms, and you can be able to be relaxed and be able to feel you're a little bit better. Relaxing techniques can also involve you just taking a walk. In your office space, umekaa pale the whole day. Now, some people go these days with 5 liters of chupas. So, maji uko nayo kwa desk, kila kitu uko nayo kwa desk. Ukiingia hapo saa 2, the next time you are waking up from that desk, na kazi ni mingi, ni 5. That means you assume the nature calls, you don't want to go for them, you don't want to do anything, and it's true, you can be there the whole day because you are stressed because of the work that you are doing. So let's have small self-care techniques. Just come with a small bottle so that umalize chupa maji kidogo uko nayo na uamuke uende maji ingine urudi. Ukisikia ni nature call, don't assume it. Go for that nature call. Those are small things that you do for yourself. Ukisikia ni mtu amekukasirisha saa hii, usiongoje saa 7 unless wewe ni mtu hasira. Usiongoje saa 7 mwambie excuse me, you stepped on me. Nasema oh sorry, I had not seen you. You feel much better. Na maisha yako itafanya nini? Itaendelea. So let's do some relaxing techniques in between our busy schedule. Is going to relax us. Then maintain support networks. Have people you can be able to call to. Imagine, aka msichana nimekaongelesha hapa kwa ofisi kama nijibu vibaya. Have someone to talk to and be able to unleash that, and it makes you not have anxiety every time you want to go to the office. You just think you're going to the office. Na ikifika Sunday, unakuwa mgonjwa. Then Monday ni sick off. Every Monday. Now ujui why it's just Sunday to Monday I'm becoming sick. Then that means there's something disturbing you at work and you're trying to avoid. Physical exercise, very important. Ask Elder Nyang'oro behind there. Anapenda mazoezi. Mnaweza join your club, mkimbiange na yeye. Then things will be okay. And you see, he's still looking very young. Mazoezi ni mzuri. Let's continue doing them and they are going to help us. Yes. Then deep breathing exercise. I taught you guys this last time and I still think I'm going to do it again today. Using what we did in the morning, that's one of the breathing exercises. But there's deep breathing exercise, whereby you breathe in through your nostril very deeply, hold the air, let the nice oxygenated air get into your system, and then you unleash the carbon dioxide from inside your lungs, and you feel much relaxed. And utasikia kama tina asubuhi, unasikia tosa kulala and relaxed. And in most cases, if your mind is filled up with so many things, is filled up with, you see the way you leave home thinking about that plot. That plot. I'm sure like now Elder Nyang'oro anafikiria tu project yetu ya kanisa itaanza aje. Unapata tu unaongea tu project ya kanisa. You are driving and your mind ukiulizwa where have you passed? Have you ever noticed one time umetoka ofisi umefika kwako, but if someone asks you where did you pass, you cannot be able to explain. Because you are driving autopilot, but your mind is somewhere else. Na Mungu by the grace of God unafika nyumbani. Sasa wewe na mlevi ni kitu moja. Gari inajua wapi? Nyumbani. Yes, but if there's a commotion or an incident that needs emergency brakes and everything, you cannot be able to handle because your mind is not there. So in most cases, the deep breathing exercise can be able to help you. As you breathe in and you breathe out, and you listen for your environment, it can help you to be able to relax. So we are going to do this. Try to sit up. I think I need a chair. At times, we sit in an angle that is not good. Dagi ashaamka, nishamu interrupt. Every time I move, he has to move with me. Most cases, you'd want to sit like this. Even at the office, we are spoiling our back. This lower back, you know, everyone has a tail. Daktari yako pale. We have the last bones that curve into our behind. So you'd find every time you sit like this, you are disrupting that. And you find you start having back problems. Always don't leave a space behind. I don't advocate for you to go pick pillows. When you pick pillows and you put them here again, now you spoil the posture now. Now you start now sitting like this. And then you spoil yourself. So just make sure your seat at least does not have those funny things. And if you sit upright, even for people who are driving long distance, just try sitting upright. Utafika your destination without any problem. Since I discovered that, I've never had problems. I can drive from Mombasa to Nairobi without many stops because I'm comfortable. Just raise your chair. Most people want to drive when the seats are very much bent. Unatafuta miguu huko. So you are driving like this every time. Just try to sit up in a comfortable so that your legs do not move as much. Are we together? And you are comfortable and the steering is here. So the same thing in your office. Just try to sit up, bring the laptop closer. Bring anything you want to work on closer to you. Not the other way. Now you want to do this or you want to do this as you do it. So right now I'm requesting you to sit up. Ubaya nikiwa hapa na waona. So kama hujakaa vizuri nakwambia ukae vizuri. Try to sit up. Try to relax. And then we breathe in. These are different ones. In the morning, we are doing breathing in through our nostrils and out through our nostrils. Now, this one, we are doing breathing in through our nostrils. We are holding the air and then letting it out through our mouth. Sawa sawa. Let's try. I will still be able to see if you are doing it badly. So if you are doing it, then it's going to disturb you. Let the air get in completely, hold it, and then out again through your lungs. Are you together? Let's try. Breathe in. Hold it, then out. Like music, stop it. Again, breathe in. Hold it, then out. So I don't want you to do. Just relax. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. The mic should always be here. So breathe in, don't do. Then just relax, then breathe in. Let just your lung be full, then you breathe out. Assume like you're blowing. Ile kuni ya mashambani, firewood. You blow it long for it, they work. Let's do it 5 times. Breathe in. Hold it, then out. Now, as we do it 5 times, I want you to pick how many sounds can you be able to pick? The inside sound and the outside sound and the farthest sound you can be able to pick. So I want to guide you. Just do it 5 times because you are doing it well, but look for sounds. So let's start now. Thank you. If you can hear my voice, you can come back. Thank you. I want people to share their experience, if there's any, before we split into small groups. Any with experience? Sinambia mjafeel kitu yoyote. Any with any experience? Okay, sounds. Umesikia sauti gani? Yes, just come.
I was able to hear my heartbeat and it slows down with time.
Every time it kept slowing down.
Yes.
As you kept breathing more, it kept slowing down. So you kept relaxing,
Yes.
in short.
Exactly.
Asante sana. Yes, someone else? Someone else? Kuja tu seme, kwenye umesikia. Chepchichir. Oh, nataka mic hapo. Mpatie mic hapo.
I was able to hear children singing outside na sauti ya mabati.
So how are you feeling inside?
Not any different.
Any different? It's okay. Patia Elder Okiti pale. Okite, yes. Atuambie. Yes.
Mimi nimesikia tu usingizi.
Umesikia usingizi. Ni sawa sawa.
Relax kiasi.
Anyone who thought of something else apart from the sounds? So, that exercise, if you do it more, you reach where he reached. You stop thinking of other sounds, you start hearing yourself, and you start feeling calm. Na kama ni usingizi napotea usiku ukienda kulala, you'll find yourself ushalala. Isn't it? So, that's not what you do when you want to continue working. That's what you do when you want to relax more, na una pressure mob. So, what should I do? I just remembered before I break. Last week, or this week, yes, this week, I work with young people for confidentiality. I work with young people, and this young person, I was called. I was called in the middle of entering another session, na naambiwa there's someone else who need your attention. So I sent someone else to tell them, bring them. So this person had already told me wanakuanga na panic attacks. So wamekuja, ameletwa kwa ofisi, nimekaa. If you come to my office, tapata there are so many cartoons on the wall because of young people. So this young girl walks in, amekaa. But they are scared of me. They don't want to look at me. So I notice whatever is causing a panic attack must be looking like me. Unajua? Whatever is causing a panic attack is what? Is looking like me. Because I'm a fringe. Did I have a picture? I saw a picture somewhere. I'm a fringe, na ameshika nini, anajaribu kuniangalia, akiangalia chini. So I tell myself, huyu hawezi niangalia, siwezi msaidia, na mwenye ako nje nilikuwa nimetuma aende amsaidie, na hawezi msaidia. That means nimebaki na nani? Peke yangu. So I tell them, look on the wall. Don't even look at me. Look on the wall. Pick of all these pictures ziko kwa ukuta. Because we have Sophia, we have SpongeBob, we have Mickey Mouse, we have so many of them. So they pick on Mickey Mouse and the girlfriend's jina nani. I'm a stick hapo. So I try to calm her down, and this is how you calm someone with a panic attack. Use all the 5 senses. Are you together? Use all the 5 senses. Sight, sindio? Sight kwanza wajaribu calm down with a sight that can be able to calm them down. So pick a place that is most comfortable for them to watch or look at. So kama ni wewe basi sikuangalie, angalie chini. But because we have nice pictures, told her to look at nice pictures. Bado nasikia anapumua very fast. So if you have a panic attack and is attacking you na uko peke yako, breathing will be a difficult thing for you. You will not be able to breathe, utasikia unanyongwa. So it's a matter of taking small breaths in and small breaths out. So it's like until you get the rhythm. It's just like music. You're trying to pick it slowly because umestuka, you can't even breathe, umehold, unaambiwa tu, just breathe. So you'll be like, And then you tell them, now keep doing it as you do it longer and longer. And then with time, they find themselves now breathing longer. Then out kidogo with time. So, ule mtu ameshtuka, huwezi mwambia, haya sasa, niliambiwa breathe in, shikilia hiyo hewa, sasa breathe out. Hawezi fanya. Let them do small ones as you pick them until they find the long ones. If it's touch, tell them to touch somewhere they feel a texture of something to distract them from what they are doing. So what I was telling you to do by picking other sound was just to distract you from whatever you are thinking about. For whatever you're looking at me and imagining, asa kamse kanatuambia nini. From that to now being able to relax. So let them touch something else, be able to feel the texture. As you feel the texture, you forget these are the people who attacked me and beat me. For her, she was attacked in a shop. And in this shop, she was banged on the wall. So that guy was bigger like me. Luckily, that day I had not worn black. The guy had worn black. But luckily, again, I required dreadlocks. So sina dreadlocks. So after all this has been calmed down, so now I'm here, are you comfortable now to look at me? I'm like, yes. Then I asked them, you are afraid to look at me. Was I reminding you of something? He's like, yes, of my attacker. So can you be able to differentiate between me and your attacker? Then he was like, yes. Wewe si kama yeye. Wewe ni 1, 2, 3. So you find at times people might be here, but they are not here, they are there. Are we together? Where the incident happens that causes them the panic attack. So out of all those 5 things, the most important one, go for counseling for behavior change. And they are going to target your cognitive, that means your mind, and behavior change. The cognitive and the behavior change combined together, then it gives you healing when it comes to anxiety. Then, how can we be able to prevent anxiety? Us now, as adults, sisi watu wakubwa, anxiety yetu mob inakuja, so much caffeine. If you keep taking so much caffeine, hizo majani na coffee, it might start leading you to some of these anxieties. Checking with a health professional before using over-the-counter herbal medications in most cases, or over-the-counter medication. Some of them may start causing you that. It's important if you notice umeanza kuwa na panic attack, wakati unatumia dawa, go back to your physician and be able to know if they're the ones that are causing you to have that. Then maintain a balanced diet and nutrition. YCDM mnajua balanced diet. Keep it up, and then keep a regular sleeping pattern. If you normally sleep at this particular time and wake up at this particular time, try to keep that routine, then it's going to help you out. And then regularly exercise. And then let's avoid alcohol. Yes, alcohol. Kuna walevi hapa, tusikajifanye kama iko, go stop alcohol, wachana na bangi, and other drugs will also be able to bring anxiety. And then watching trauma, entertainment, things that you are watching that causes trauma. If you keep watching these Niger movies, na wachawi, wanaburuka, wanaweka watu kwa chupa, utaanza kujipata kwa hizo shida. Ni sawa sawa. So what we take home, anxiety is not a medical condition, but a natural emotional that is vital for survival when an individual faces danger. An anxiety disorder develops when this reaction becomes exaggerated. Every time it keeps happening or out of proportion to the trigger that causes it. So whatever causes it triggers you then every time. Then there are several types of anxiety disorders, including panic disorder, phobias, and social anxiety. It's important for us to know which one we have, then we deal with it. And then treatment involves combination of therapy, medication, and counseling. And then at times, an active lifestyle with a balanced diet is going to assist you in that. And you already read